Okay, so today what we're going to do is we are going to cover how to make Google Forms for teachers. So first we're going to go up here into Google Apps and go into our Drive. Now you can click on Drive and get there easily, or you can go down here, but generally I just go to Drive. So I'm going to go back and then go to Drive. Now, make sure that you're on the right drive. So for instance, I need to swap accounts to my school account. So here's my SCPS account. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into New, More, Google Forms. There are templates, but in general, this is the setup that I like to use. I start with an untitled form. The title, you can give it a title. So let's just call it test form. And some of the tips that I am going to mention is we're going to use a lot of descriptions. So for instance, at this point on quarter 4, I'm using a questionnaire to get data from students. So I can find out what period they're in and what their name is, and then if they've got a working PC or not, and then find out if they've got a working PC, a little bit about that PC, and if they don't have a PC, how to do that. You'll notice I have 60 responses. I'm going to tell you how we can work the form a little bit more efficiently so we can then work the detail later. So in the test form, when you add a new question, your question text could go here, but generally what I like to do is put a short header. So if I'm asking what period, I'll just put period. And then down here, we can click here and click on description. So we're going to enter, please enter the period that you are in. And then because I know it's a limited range of options, I can do multiple choice, but I also know that I've got students in more than one class. So I'm going to go to checkboxes. I can type P1, and then since kids will forget what period or what they're in, I'll put steel band 1. Etc. etc. Well, usually I like to think of it how I'm going to sort it. So if I'm going to sort it from period and then name, because that way I've got everybody in alphabetical or numerical order by period and then alphabetical order by name, and think of it like a big spreadsheet. So then I would put name, and then once again go to description, last, comma, first. It sure is great when they remember to do it this way. Still, you'll get about 10% that don't pay attention and do it wrong. So the reason I did it in this order is that I know that period is what I'm going to sort them by, and then last name will be the second sort. So let's add another question. So this one, notice that asks for a short answer, and that's good because that's what we want. The next question we're going to ask is, do they have a PC? So PC, question mark. And then once again, we'll do a description. Okay. Now here's where it gets fancy. This is a binary question, a Boolean option, right? So they can do yes, I have a working PC, or no. We don't want to give them a choice in between. And we're going to decide on the next questions based on this question. Okay. So instead of short answer, we're going to do multiple choice, and we're going to say yes and no. Now what we're going to do is go to selection based on answer. Okay, so if we do yes, they're going to go to the next section. If they go no, we need to change how this works. Okay, so I'm going to add a section. So that's over here, add a section. So untitled section will be, cool. Okay, so if they click no, they're going to go to a non-working PC. All right, and then I'm going to go down here, add another section. And this will be working PC. All right. So based on this question up here, do you have a working PC? Working PC. So go to section 3 or go to section 2. Okay. Now, when they're finished with this section, non-working PC. So let's say this question here, which doesn't have anything, I'm going to put it here. Non-working PC, cry. There. So we're just going to put cry to have something there. Go to selection based the description. Are you going to cry? And then they can put whatever. That's one option. And then when it's done, we're not going to go to the next section. We're going to submit the form. Okay. working PC. All right, and then add question to working PC. And there's a games, and then we can give them options. Once again, there's different types of questions. You can select that here. So let's say a chance between 1 and 5. 1 is not at all. Games for days. Okay. All right. Now down here is required. If they get to this question and you want them to absolutely positively have to answer it, then you can make it required. I have the default setting, so all of my questions are required. So I need to make sure sometimes if I give them things like that has a different answer or has options, and none of the above needs to be one of those options. Okay. So non-working PC, after they finish that, they're going to cry. The answer is yes. All right. Okay. And I don't want to add no because they're going to have to cry. And then we're going to submit form. And then selection 3, you're just going to play game. And when we're done with this, we're going to submit. Okay. It'll automatically submit because it's at the bottom of the sheet. Okay. If I want to import questions from another Google Sheet, I can do that. If I want to add an image, I can click here. I just happen to have this one from an earlier project. So I'm going to select that and hit insert. And then it'll put there in circle. All right. And then now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go up to the top. Let's say I want to customize the theme and change the color. We can change the main theme color there and change the background here. You can change the font if you want it to be some other font. And you can use a header image if you want. We'll do jelly beans because it's handy. All right. Now I'll have jelly beans at the top. Yay. And it automatically changes the color to match that stuff. Okay, cool. So when this is all done, all right, you need to test it. Okay. We're going to preview it by clicking here. And this is test form. And then notice when we get down here, we can't do anything more. Okay. My answer, last name Donnan, first name Clayton. PC, do I have a working PC? Yes, I'll put yes. And then I'll put Steelband 1. Hit next. And then, oh, good, you have a working PC, so you're just going to play games, right? No, not at all. And then I hit submit. And there you go. The response has been recorded, and that's it. Okay, so let's close this test form. You'll notice now I have one response. Okay, one response, kind of cool. Let's go ahead and look at that response. We can click over here and find the response. So in the first response, we see this is a mix of all the responses, okay? Since there's only one right now, this is what we have. It's from Donna Clayton because I can't even spell my own last name. PC, 100% yes. This was not answered, so it's skipped. And then working PC, 1 out of 5. 100% of my answering people put a 1. Okay? Cool. You can go individually and then select. Once again, there's only one person. And then you can look by question. So let's go to questions. I wonder if I can do this. Let me pull this over. Let me look at one with more data. Under responses, so these are all the different emails that I've received so far. I can look at this data by question. All right. How many people responded through these questions, and I can change from that to working PC. 60 people, so 100% of my kids have a working PC, which is fantastic. I'm very happy about. For hardware, I have 18 have both. 33 have only a mic, and 6 only have that. So that's question view. For individual, you can look at each individual person who submitted it. Okay. Now, because we are a part of SCPS and we have our own Google system here, we can do some other settings. So for instance, under the settings tab back at our test, we can restrict to users in Seminole County Public Schools and its trusted organizations. That's good. And we can also limit to one response, which is also good for this particular quiz or form. If we collect email addresses, then they will have to submit using their school email address. This can be confusing for students because they usually use their own Google Gmail accounts on most stuff. However, it makes sure that the person who is answering it is the person you're asking. That's really valuable, and it automatically collects that email address. Response receipts, basically will send them an email saying, hey, we got your response. And edit after submit, I usually do that obviously that just means they can go back in and edit it. Let's say they go buy a microphone or they go buy a camera, then that'll be good. Presentation, you can show progress bar at the top if you've got a lot of questions. Sometimes that helps. And shuffle question order is generally bad for me, but you may, if you're doing a quiz or something, you can do this. And your confirmation right now says your message has been recorded. If you have something like, yay, I can't wait to teach via WebEx. All right. Quizzes. Cool. You can make it a quiz and assign points. I've never used that since we have eCampus. If I hit save, that part's saved. It's now taking public school user emails, so they have to put in an email address. One more thing, under responses, right here, you can actually create a spreadsheet. Create a new spreadsheet. I'm going to call it test form responses. Create. Now what that does is it creates a whole separate spreadsheet with all the data that's been entered. This is really valuable because it'll have all of my stuff in order. So remember how I said I think about how I'm going to lay out the data so I can use it effectively? Well, you're going to get kids from first period, then sixth period, then 10th period, and whatever, over and over, all these different pieces of data. And you want to organize them so that you can put them in the grade book or so that you can get that data easily. Google Sheets is just like Excel almost, but it's basically the same. It's really great. And you can actually take that data and then make sure that it's searchable. So for instance, if I wanted to organize the entire sheet, right, by this, I could grab all of these, right, and click on this button up here, create a filter, right? Then I can select by this, sort by A to Z, so this person's first. Let's say I've got, all right, cool. So now I can organize all of it just by clicking this A to Z. So it goes by this order first, and then sort by A to Z goes by this order. By doing this, we organize the last names first, and then we organize everything by period. So it'll be organized by period, then by last name. So you kind of go in reverse order. And that's the way the system works. All right. Hopefully that helps you set up your own Google form. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks. See you next time.